Good morning, I am Adam Harris, and this is the day ahead. A quick reminder to subscribe to this channel below to receive alerts and daily market analysis videos of all the key asset classes. On the economic calendar for today, we have UK GDP at 9:30 a.m. and US CPI Food and Energy year-on-year data at 1:30 p.m. The US government shutdown continues to boost the major currencies over the US dollar, and the cryptocurrencies finished down after a strong start to the week. Gold and silver and palladium continue to edge higher, this being the same with the global indices and equities in focus, where bullish optimism adds to this week's gains. You can jump to any chapter by clicking on the time link in the description below. Starting off with currencies and the US dollar index, as the US government goes into its third week of shutdown, we can see, and my expectation is that this US dollar index will continue to weaken. Certainly nice. Did a little bit of a retracement yesterday and now forming a bearish candle. My expectation is to see that continue to head lower. Comparing that again with say Euro US dollar, love the fact that it had the breakout, bit of a retracement, now a bullish candle off a nice flat level of 1.15. If anything, supporting the continuation of that breakout. I quite like the look of that. Then comparing that to cable, sterling against the US dollar, still need to get out to that range, and if I get my wish today, if we do have a much weaker day for the US dollar index, we should get a breakout of that level. Would be nice to see. Alternatively, I'll come back to that on Monday and see how it's going. Now, with quite a few of the JPY charts where I was looking for pullbacks into the moving averages and continuations, not really sure if I'm going to get that today. And they're not necessarily looking as strong, but still liking the idea of this as a setup. Now, one of the trades that has is now off my list. This one had triggered down and has now very quickly, as of yesterday, changed into an uptrend. So this has gone from a downtrend into an uptrend, and I'll visit that. So the Aussie and Kiwi pairs will be on my watch list from Monday. Certainly the Aussie chart's looking as though they've got some good trading opportunities here. Now, pound Kiwi has been added to my list today. It's gone from an uptrend back into a downtrend, so it's broken through this level here, and this is going to be on my intraday trading opportunity watch list for today, and actually pretty much on every single time frame, going down. Really nice downtrend on the 4-hourly, all the way down to the 30 minutes at least. Nice strong move to the downside and a nice strong downtrend. So any pullbacks into this previous level of support will be very, very nice and appealing, especially if they hit a fib level as well. But 30 minutes, 15 minutes, even further to see price pull back into the moving averages, looking for bearish candles and looking to trade that to the downside. So having a look at cryptos now, as they did actually manage to break out, starting off with Bitcoin, did manage to break out of its small little range, immediately encountered that next level at 4,100 of resistance and has taken a knock back below that level. So I'm not too concerned in terms of the bigger picture, longer term, but for now that looks as though that's not ready to leave and get beyond that level. It's pretty much the same with Litecoin, Ripple, the two of those following pretty much in Bitcoin's roots. Now, the one chart that looks interesting, so they're looking more bearish. They've gone and they've switched, they've taken a bit of a knock and they've switched from that bullish breakout back to bearish again. The one that has followed a very orderly behavior, and I really like the structure of this chart as well, is Ethereum. This is a weekly chart. It's now retraced back into a level of support, back into the moving averages, bearish weekly candle, and I'll be looking for a break of the low of this on Monday as a potential shorting opportunity. But certainly from a technical analysis perspective, a break of the low that would imply that. However, just noting again, even here, that weekly divergence. So sorry about that, just noting that weekly divergence and expecting price to continue down there as well. But at some point, we're certainly, because of the divergence here, going to get a change in trend on the weekly time frame as well. In commodities, gold continuing to push up with that weaker US dollar index. It's just going to keep testing that level, actually forming a little bit of a bullish breakout pattern on the lower time frame. So again, still waiting on that. It's just because it's overextended, but if it breaks through, it's likely to head up to that 1311 level. And same with silver as well, also looking quite bullish, not quite through that level yet, so just overextended on the daily, even on the weekly, potentially now starting to do that, and at some point do need that to have a healthy retracement certainly, and it's just, but it's still looking bullish, and this is certainly being helped with that weaker US dollar. The United States, Brent oil fund as well, so Brent oil coming back into the moving averages. This is on a weekly time frame, so I'll be looking for a small bearish rejection candle off that 18 level, certainly next week, and looking to see if I do get that, because that otherwise, or waiting for an alternative to keep pushing higher to change trend to confirm that. And then just showing palladium as well, also same as gold and silver, nice and strong and healthy. At some point was hoping this would come back to test this. However, I think it's so overextended now. I think the next move will be back into the moving averages, probably closer to 1250. and looking for an entry opportunity next week for another move up to the upside there. Now to the global indices, where certainly the markets are continuing to maintain their bullishness. This is looking really nice. I expect again to see if we break the high of this and finish slightly higher on Wall Street as well, S&P 500. Also, a lot of them testing those resistance levels, but likely to break through, especially if obviously if things just continue as they were for the rest of the week. Just noting out with the S&P 500 that weekly it's back into a level of resistance as it approaches that. So it'll be significant to me if we break above that by the close of today. Alternatively, closing at that will be interesting, as next week is then a potential opportunity for that weekly chart to resume and produce a bearish candle and a break of the following week. Currently, most of the market's looking way more bullish than bearish. Looking here at the Tech 100, Nasdaq's bullish candle continuing to form there. If we jump across and have a look at Germany 30, then just to give this context here, this is a weekly chart coming back into that level of resistance, back into the sell zone. So again, that level there being significant if we hit that 11,000 level. Hong Kong continuing to push upwards through its level of resistance as well. So this will be significant, especially if it then changes trends. So this is on a weekly time frame. If it breaks to this level a second time and then breaks the previous high, that weekly chart will tend to go into an uptrend. That'll be quite significant considering how bearish that instrument has been for months now. And just finishing off with that Australia 200 to give a sense of perspective there. Nice bullish candle there. It's just forming a strong bullish formation there and managing to stay well above the 5,700, 5,700 level. And that's it. So these markets looking nice and bullish and showing every intention of testing their limits, their upper limits today. And lastly for today, the equities in focus, just looking at Google continuing to form that very strong bullish monthly candle. And so just looking at the similar behavior in the past, we've got that strong resistance at 1200, but that bullish candle potentially setting up. Apple very much lagging, this being a weekly chart, very much lagging in its behavior against or compared to some of the others, obviously, of the fangs in the Nasdaq. Just this one not continuing, so it's got a bit of a way to move to catch up. If you compare it to Amazon, you really can see how strong and bullish most of the others are. Certainly this one being very much a leader in terms of that, very much setting off that level, looking very bullish. Boston Scientific continuing to head higher towards its previous highs, setting up that bullish candle for this month. And interesting to see how we continue. If we break the high of that next month, we really will see a significant run up. Then having a look at Standard Chartered and moving on to a weekly chart, just highlighting here that breakthrough of that previous level of support and resistance, pulling back, finding support and heading on upwards, showing signs of that. What's interesting about this is it's been the first time certainly since June where we seem to be getting that bullishness on both the weaker equities as well as the stronger ones. And that's pretty significant because we really had that disagreement for months, if you recall. And even now, Lloyd's Bank here as well, looking at it now on a monthly basis. So this is a monthly version of that chart. You can see historically that support resistance level and price now producing a strong bullish candle here. If we break the high of this in February, we will see a potential rejection of that level again and heading a lot higher. So to see that across both the weaker and stronger equities is noteworthy. And then just finishing off with BP, noting again that's continuing to do that potential support of a monthly level. And again, if we break high, we'll see that tend to head back up towards its previous highs. There we go, ladies and gents. On that note, I want to wish you a wonderful weekend. If it's trending, I'll be there. And yes, may the sun be shining on your face this weekend. Just a reminder to hit the subscribe button. If you want to stay abreast of what's happening in the market, I'll be producing and bringing you the latest in the markets every morning in a freshly produced video.